Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 6. And this is going to be my trailer breakdown for Episode 6 of Season 6, so 6-6. This episode is otherwise entitled License to Elongate, but here is the trailer.
Your name's Alan. Barry Allen. This is a party for criminals. This Meister, he's up to something.
Fire in the hole.
Okay, what do we do?
Wunderbar.
The Flash, new episode Tuesday, November 19th, only on the CW.
So the last episode was, I guess some people have called it like a filler episode, but it's like a filler, not filler episode. Because Barry wasn't in it, so you feel like, oh, it's not connected to the main story, but it was about Cisco, you know, and all of that. So it was pretty important to the story in some aspects, so I wouldn't call it a straight-up filler episode. But obviously, there were little aspects of Bloodwork there. It was one scene, but it sort of did move stuff along. And then, of course, right at the end of the episode, and I guess throughout the episode as well, we had the new Harrison Wells, or Nash Wells, interacting with Joe. You know, the whole conversation of the Monitor and Ma Novu came up. And then it said that he knows exactly how to save Barry Allen, and they're going to be heading to that tunnel. In this episode, it's not clear in the trailer. I don't think it's in the trailer at all. But in the promo images and some stuff we'll go over in this video as well, it's made pretty clear that's what's going to go down. Now, just to make it clear, because some of you might not know yet, it is said in the trailer as well, but you might not have caught it because it would have flashed up on screen pretty quickly. But this episode doesn't come out for 2 weeks. We're on a 2-week break, or like a week without the Flash. So 2 weeks from now, the episode will come out roughly. We have these weeks, you know, breaks every now and then, unfortunately. This is to match up with Crisis, because I think Supergirl and Batwoman have a break the week before Crisis, but Flash Arrow will be on the week before Crisis, because those are the two shows that are going to set up Crisis, you know, in regards to like end credit scenes, I guess. So yeah, we're having a break this week. It's unfortunate. I think they were replaying the premiere episodes for this season, so if you want to rewatch them, they're both good episodes, you can go do that. But before we break down the actual trailer, we will quickly go over the synopsis or description for the episode, as it does give us a bit more of an idea of what's going on in the episode, give us a bit more context. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know all of your various opinions on the trailer. What are you looking forward to most in this episode? What catches your eye? What makes you laugh? What makes you giggle? What disappoints you? Let me know in the comments section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, why not drop a like on it to show support and hype for this episode. Barry turns his attention to prepping Elongated Man for life after Crisis and without the Flash. But Ralph ultimately teaches Barry a lesson. Meanwhile, Cecile faces her own moment of self-discovery while helping a recuperated Chester P. Runk reclaim his identity. So first little, I guess, info drop for this episode. Daniel Panabaker, who plays Caitlin Snow, aka Killer Frost, on The Flash, is actually directing the episode, so don't expect much Caitlin. She's in the episode because there's some promo images of her, but don't expect a lot of her. I'd expect her maybe like a couple of scenes, if that. So don't expect too much of her because she was busy directing the goddamn episode. But we start off the trailer with the name's Alan, Barry Allen. So if the title of the episode didn't give it away yet and you're still a bit confused, this is a very James Bond inspired episode, as you can tell by the title and that opening line of the name's Alan, Barry Allen. A lot of the trailer has James Bond references, like little things like, you know, those classic James Bond movies and even like the villainous stuff. So this episode should be a decent amount of fun, like utterly ridiculous, a lot of stupid stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, it'll be very silly, but it should be super fun in the same, you know, at the same time. And trust me, I'd probably rather be having fun in this episode than wallowing in self-pity, because episodes 7 and 8 will be doing that to both us, the audience, as well as Barry Allen and the members of Team Flash. So I want to have a bit of fun before we feel like crawling into a corner, into a ball, and trying to just forget that we exist. Because, oh boy, Bloodwork is coming for our asses. Now, on the stage at the beginning of the trailer, I'm sure some of you guys might have seen it, you can see a display of what seems to be like a variety of different weapons or, you know, things like that, utensils if you want to call it. Now, you do get a look at some of them in, I think, later in the trailer in better quality, but also in some of the promo images, so I'll try and find the best shot of like a better look at it and put it on the screen for you right now. Now, also on the stage is this guy in the white suit, who we will come back to later on in the video, because it comes back to another video I did previously. But there's also Ultraviolet, who you also get a better look at later in the trailer as well, when she's, I think, fighting Barry and maybe Ralph as well. Now, she, of course, is tied to a mysterious organization who took her when she was in a, I guess, like a comatose-like state. Now, as I've mentioned in my review back then, for I think it was episode 2 she first appeared in, when it was revealed like that she'd been taken and stuff, as well as some other videos following that episode, That organization that took her is that of Black Hole. You could see the little badge on the guy's like blazer. Now in the comics, Black Hole creates weapons that actually utilize the Speed Force as their power source. Now, I don't think that will be the case at this point in time. Like, I'd be surprised if they're actually using Speed Force powered weapons right now. But they might be looking like, you know, to like up the game from the dark matter powered weapons that they might be using at the moment, or that we have seen in the past. Like at the moment, then maybe they're using another type of experimental energy that's like the Speed Force, and it's making very powerful weapons. Or maybe they're replicating something similar to the Speed Force, something along those lines. But throughout this episode, we could possibly get a hint as to who is maybe leading the research behind this, whether it is the same person from the comics or not. And if they maybe have some Speed Force energy of their own, like whether it is like a replicant, like something very similar, or maybe they got their hands on a goddamn speedster. Who knows? Maybe Wally West is in their is in like a little jail cell or something, and they're getting Speed Force energy from him. Like that'd be very interesting. Like these weapons are pretty lethal to the Flash and just speedsters in general, as you can imagine. Like they mess with the speedster's connection to the Speed Force, so it would be pretty hectic to see on the show, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I'm not saying that they're going to be the big bads. I'd highly doubt that, but they could be connected, and probably should be connected to whoever the big bad will be in the back half. Now, obviously, it's a Barry and Ralph team-up episode, as the synopsis pretty much highlights and clearly makes out. Now, this weapons gallery, if you want to call it that, is taking place in Midway City. So this journey was sort of set up a couple of episodes back by Ralph. Now, I've mentioned this in previous videos, but Midway City is a pretty interesting location for the Arrowverse, because this is where the Hawks, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, used to reside. I have no idea if they're still here, but it's also where Patty Spivot went to school, so I'd assume she's still here, but maybe there's a reference to her. I think there would be. Maybe they mentioned, like, you know, Officer Spivot or something like that, or CSI Spivot or something in passing. We'll have to wait and see. Now, it does appear there's not going to be any meta powers allowed in this building, most likely at least, as we do see Barry fighting just as himself without super speed. I mean, it would be pretty silly if Barry was to beat Ultraviolet without his powers. I mean, I'm just being honest here, you know, trained assassin versus a dude who sort of relies on his powers to be somewhat coordinated, so I think we all know who should win this fight. But you never know, Barry might luck out, slip and accidentally uppercut her, who knows. Now, we do have like a typical James Bond type villain here. He's German by the sounds of it. You only hear him talk a couple of times, but I think he's German. He is launching like an attack on Central City. Now, this could, you know, give like a good enough reason for both Ralph and Barry to sort of hurry their butts up and intervene and stop whatever's going off there, and just say, hey, let's just calm that down and not let it go off. Now, in regards to who this dude is, as I mentioned in my video a while back on information for this episode when they were filming it, I revealed that this guy's last name would be Meister. But we now know his full name is Remington Meister, which is just a very villainous name. It just sounds very, not evil, but definitely very scheming and very controlling, so I love it. Now, we do have this big laser weapon that seems to be controlled by Ultraviolet. Now, this is typical James Bond. That's definitely what they're going for. It will be interesting to see whether this is her last episode, whether Ultraviolet comes back, or if she continues to just, you know, maybe gradually show up this season post-Crisis, maybe. Like, if Black Hole is going to continue to play such a big part, or at least a part after Crisis, you would expect she'd come back, unless she's just an introductory sort of character for it, and then maybe we get a full explanation of that organization in this episode, and she maybe leaves after this episode. But that's for us to wait and find out. And obviously, as I mentioned much earlier in the video, because it was the end of last video, it was at the end of last episode, might I say, the tunnel stuff in this episode. It's going to be a side story. I'd expect, I guess, maybe like 60% of the episodes in Midway City with Ralph and Barry. The rest of the time we're in the tunnel, and then maybe a bit with Cecile and Chester P. Runk as well. Now, the promo images do show Wells, Killer Frost, and Allegra. Allegra is obviously the cousin of Ultraviolet in the tunnel. Maybe Iris might be there as well, but then again, maybe Iris is with Cecile or with Joe. I don't know, have to wait and see. Now, I'm guessing the culmination or the climax of this sort of storyline with the tunnel will probably be the cliffhanger we get, maybe, or it could be something to do with Bloodwork. It could be either. It just depends which way they want to go. I guess the big question is, like, what is in this tunnel area that the Monitor is attending to? Like, the stuff he gets on Arrow is maybe being stowed there, so like all that, you know, the dwarf star particles and that doctor and stuff like that. Maybe that's what's in there, just a little storage cupboard. Like, that's a popular theory that a lot of people are talking about. But it could it could just be something completely different. It could be like a massive plan for what the Monitor is going to be doing. Maybe like a sort of like graph or some sort of like stats on all these different heroes that people in general that the Monitor wants to talk to and possibly recruit. I'm very, very, very intrigued to see what they do in this episode with this tunnel area, because it could be just a massive eye-opener for Crisis, as well as maybe the Pariah storyline as well, which we're meant to see develop on The Flash. And I think episode 8 specifically, they said, but you never know, we might get hints to it much earlier. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much everything to go over, I think, from this trailer. I don't think there's anything else of note to go over, but if you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on what we went over, what catches your eye from the trailer. You're just looking forward to this episode because it looks like a bit of fun, but also with a bit of some, some Crisis stuff there attached with the tunnel stuff as well. Let me know all of your opinions in the comment section down below, and of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.